It's midnight and you're watching Nightline with me, Nakia Basharuddin. The headlines. Onus now on public to curb COVID-19, says Prime Minister. No sleepovers allowed during Hari Raya house visits. And scores feared dead as passenger plane crashes in Pakistan. We'll begin the bulletin with this story. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin has gone into self-quarantine at home for 14 days beginning Friday. This after a government officer at a post-cabinet meeting, which he attended on Wednesday, was tested positive for COVID-19. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office, however, said Tan Sri Muhyiddin had tested negative for the coronavirus on Friday morning. Those who also attended the meeting were also ordered to undergo screening and self-quarantine beginning Friday. The statement also clarified that all meetings in the Prime Minister's office were conducted while observing strict social distancing and extreme hygiene protocols at all times. Earlier on Friday, Tan Sri Muhyiddin said the time has come for every Malaysian to be responsible in curbing the COVID-19 infection in the country and give a chance for the frontliners to have a little but most deserved break. The Prime Minister said if the people were to play their part, the burden shouldered by the frontliners during this pandemic might be reduced.
Assalamualaikum.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin spoke on the matter during a 30-minute video conference with representatives of the country's frontliners in Putrajaya. He stated that if an area has been categorized as a green zone, then the onus is on the people there to keep it that way and not the responsibility of the Health Ministry or the frontliners.
Kita selama berbulan-bulan ni kita mengambil langkah ke hadapan, the frontliners. Tapi slowly tapi surely selepas ni rakyat harus memikul tanggungjawab untuk menentukan supaya wabak COVID ni tak menular.
Tan Sri Muhyiddin also said he wants issues over late payment of the special monthly allowance for frontliners who have been serving throughout the Movement Control Order MCO be resolved soonest. He had also ordered this to be done when the matter was raised at a special National Security Council meeting on Thursday. During the video conference, Muhyiddin also expressed his thanks and appreciation to the contributions and roles played by all the frontliners in fighting the pandemic and wished them Selamat Hari Raya Aidilfitri and Maaf Zahir dan Batin.
Kalau makan ketupat tu jangan lupa saya, ya, makan kuih pun begitu juga. Tapi almaklum tak boleh pergi ke mana-mana. Tapi saya harap semua akan dalam keadaan yang sukacita, relax sikitlah kalau boleh. Dan lepas ni nanti kita akan temu lagi di masa-masa yang akan datang. Jadi selamat Hari Raya pada semua, maaf zahir dan batin. Jadi saya ucapkan terima kasih.
On another matter, Tan Sri Muhyiddin also said that he wants the National Maritime Border Control to be tightened to prevent illegal immigrants from sneaking into the country. The Prime Minister said this was because there was a possibility that the illegals who had returned to their countries of origin would try to come back to Malaysia.
Jadi kalau kita tak jaga betul-betul, banyak yang datang balik ke Malaysia dan tak ada kawalan di pintu perairan kita, itu jadi masalah. Jadi saya nak ucapkan terima kasih.
The video conference with the country's frontliners involved personnel from the Health Ministry, Malaysian Armed Forces, Police, Immigration Department, Fire and Rescue Department, Malaysian Civil Defence Force, as well as several other agencies. Chief of Defence Force General Tan Sri Effendi Buang had expressed confidence that the issue of national border security as a whole was under control, as regular monitoring activities are being carried out by the three wings of the armed forces, police and other security forces nationwide. Those visiting family members on the first day of Hari Raya are not allowed to stay overnight. National Security Council's Senior Minister for Security Cluster, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, said doing so would be in violation of the Standard Operating Procedures SOP set, which only allows visits on the first day of the celebration.
Kalau kita raya 24 hari bulan, kalau dia tidur di situ, Lebih ke 12 1 minit dah jadi 25 bulan. 25 bulan lah, 12 1 minit. Dan dia nak beraya lagi besok tu. Jadi salah dari segi SOP yang dikeluarkan. Sebab very clear. 24 bulan raya pertama sahaja yang boleh dirayakan bersama dengan keluarga di dalam rumah tersebut. Jadi 25.
Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said this during his daily press conference in Putrajaya on Friday. He also added that although the conditions are being relaxed to enable Hari Raya visits, it is still better for people to stay home if possible. Previously, the minister had announced that visits during Hari Raya, Aidilfitri, Pesta Keamatan and Hari Gawai will only be allowed on the first day of each festival and are limited to immediate family members. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also said that the ban for interstate travel also includes husband and wives who are staying in different states, as the government is serious in not allowing any more interstate crossings.
Tak kira suami isteri ke siapa ke, apabila kita kata tiada lagi pergerakan rentas negeri, maka tiada lagi pergerakan rentas negeri. Sesiapa saja, tertakluk kepada peraturan yang saya umumkan semalam, iaitu tiada lagi.
Previously, the government had allowed them to travel once a week. The senior minister also revealed that a total of 2,539 vehicles were told to turn back for attempting to cross state borders with the excuse of returning to their hometowns. The highest number of attempted border crossings was from Malacca at 886 vehicles, followed by Perak with 362 and Pulau Pinang with 284. Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also said that all illegal immigrants at the Bukit Jalil Immigration Detention Depot that have tested positive for COVID-19 have been sent to a temporary hospital at Malaysia Agro Exposition Park, Maips in Serdang.
Seramai 60 parti yang positif telah pun dihantar ke Maips. Dan pihak Kementerian Kesihatan telah sedang membuat saringan kesihatan, iaitu swab test untuk keseluruhan 1,200 parti di dalam depo Bukit Jalil. Semua. Termasuk pegawai-pegawai. Ada 114 pegawai dan mereka yang berkaitan seperti pembekal makanan dan sebagainya. 114 telah pun dibuat swab test dan 114 pegawai dan yang berkaitannya telah pun didapati negatif.
On Thursday, the Health Ministry announced that a new COVID-19 cluster had been detected at the immigration depot. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said the cluster had likely spread due to the illegal immigrants staying in close contact in dormitories at the depot. All events scheduled to be held in conjunction with the official birthday of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah next month have been postponed. In a statement, Istana Negara's controller of the royal household, Dato' Ahmad Fadil Shamsuddin, said the king had ordered the postponement in line with the enforcement of the Conditional Movement Control Order, CMCO, until June 9th to curb the spread of COVID-19. He added that the new dates for the postponed events will be announced later. Despite this, he also said, as announced on March 4th by Chief Secretary to the government, Datuk Sri Zuki Ali, the official birthday of Al-Sultan Abdullah this year, on Monday, June 8th, has been declared a public holiday. The Health Ministry on Friday advised the public to celebrate Aidilfitri in new normal by complying with the stipulated SOPs. Its Director General, Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, said this as the ministry was concerned over the possibility of a spike in the number of cases in the post-festive period. According to Dr. Nur Hisham, from data compiled in other countries, the number of cases will increase significantly about 2 weeks after a festive period. Therefore, it is important for everyone to comply with all the directives and SOPs under the CMCO. This includes refraining from traveling interstate, avoid visiting homes and cemeteries during Hari Raya, as well as observing social distancing and practicing good hygiene.
Dan apabila kita pulang ke kampung, dan kita tak patuh pada SOP, kita juga membawa virus tersebut. Hari ini kita lihat daripada kes contohnya di pasar dan contohnya kes-kes kluster di pasar, kluster di warga emas iaitu kluster warga emas, 85% dari mereka tak ada gejala. Jadi maksud dia kita ada virus tapi kita tak ada gejala. Dan apabila kita pulang ke kampung, kita mungkin akan menjangkiti terutamanya mereka yang warga emas ataupun yang bayi dan kanak-kanak. Jadi kemungkinan besar kita akan membawa virus tersebut ke kampung.
He also said although the previous MCO enforcement is seen as more effective in curbing the spread of the coronavirus compared to the current more relaxed CMCO, the ministry has not detected any significant increase in new COVID-19 daily cases since the latter was implemented. Meanwhile, the Health Ministry reported 78 new COVID-19 cases on Friday, bringing the total number of positive cases in the country to 7,137. This is the first time in 10 days that the number of cases in a single day exceeded 50 cases. According to Dr. Nur Hisham, out of the 78 new cases, 25 were contracted abroad, while of the 53 local transmissions, 40 are non-Malaysians, where 25 cases were detected at the Immigration Department's custody depot in Bukit Jalil. It is also understood that 63 people have recovered and were permitted to leave the hospital, taking the total of those who have recovered to 5,859 cases. In the meantime, one new death was also reported on Friday, bringing the cumulative death toll in the country to 115. We're going for a short break. When we return, thanks for staying with us still on Nightline. The Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, KPD and HEP has seized over 26 million ringgit worth of goods from errant traders, which involved 583 total cases throughout the MCO and CMCO period. Its Secretary General, Datuk Sri Hasnul Zamzam Ahmad, said from the number of cases, 437 compounds were also issued, amounting to about 300,000 ringgit.
Kita harap tidak ada lagi lah kesalahan-kesalahan yang dilakukan oleh mana-mana pihak. Bukan kita hendak menambahkan kes ataupun menambahkan tangkapan ataupun rampasan ataupun mengenakan kompaun. Kita mengharapkan 100% pematuhan daripada semua peniaga. Itu yang kita harapkan.
He added that since the festive season maximum price control scheme came into effect on Wednesday until June 3rd, in conjunction with the upcoming Eid al-Fitr celebration, a total of 7 complaints were received by the ministry involving 4 cases of traders flouting the ceiling price. A total of 109,000 ringgit worth of goods were also seized, with compounds totaling 7,000 ringgit issued to the errant traders. The Customs Department has arrested a couple who allegedly turned an apartment into a mini lab to process various drugs in a raid at Hulu Klang, Selangor on Thursday. Also taken into custody during the 1:10 p.m. operation was their 4-year-old daughter. Deputy Customs Director General for Enforcement and Compliance, Dato' Abdul Latif Abdul Qadir, said during the raid, enforcement officers also found chemicals and drug processing equipment, as well as a 2-meter tall ganja plant. Also seized was a box containing approximately 500 ecstasy pills, MDMA drugs weighing about 300 grams, a compact lump of ganja, and crystal powder suspected to be methamphetamine. The total seizure was estimated to be worth at 20,000 ringgit. He added the couple, both aged 32, also tested positive for drugs. The duo have been remanded for 6 days to facilitate investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. On another matter, the department also intercepted a package declared as stationaries at a courier company in Sri Kembangan last night, which contained 24,000 ringgit worth of methamphetamine. The drugs, hidden inside multicolored marker pens, was meant to be delivered to an address in New Zealand. Authorities are now working with their New Zealand counterparts to track down the sender and receiver of the package. Police have arrested a man for driving in an erratic manner and endangering the lives of bystanders at a Ramadan bazaar in Bukit Sentosa, Hulu Selangor on Friday. State CID Chief Datuk Fadzal Ahmad, who confirmed the arrest, said the suspect in his 30s was believed to be under the influence of alcohol in the 6:30 p.m. incident. Videos of the chaotic scenes also went viral on social media, showing the man crashing his Toyota Hilux into stalls and attempting to ram into shoppers and traders at the bazaar. Several people, including Raya personnel, were also seen hitting the pickup truck with objects to stop it. At least 2 people were injured during the incident. The suspect then drove the truck in circles before fleeing the scene. It is understood that the man is currently being held at the Bukit Sentosa police station. In Kuala Lumpur, a Rohingya ethnic teen holding a United Nations High Commission for Refugees (UNHCR) card was charged at the Ampang Magistrates Court on Friday with murdering his 6-year-old stepdaughter. No plea was recorded from the 17-year-old, as the case will be transferred to the High Court. Magistrate Nurmaizan Rahim set September 1st for mention pending chemistry and forensic reports. The teen was accused of committing the offence in a room at a hotel in Ampang on May 11th. The charge under the Penal Code carries a mandatory death penalty upon conviction. Meanwhile, the victim's 23-year-old mother, also an ethnic Rohingya and a UNHCR cardholder, was charged at the Sessions Court for being careless and neglecting her daughter until she sustained injuries. She pleaded not guilty to the charge under the Child Act, which is punishable with a maximum 50,000 ringgit fine or 20 years jail or both upon conviction. Judge Azrul Daros denied bail and fixed hearing on July 2nd. On May 11th, the fully clothed body of the victim was found on the road in front of an eatery of a mall in Ampang. An examination on the body revealed multiple bruises, including on the arm, believed to be from physical abuse. Still to come on Nightline, COVID-19 cases in Singapore surpasses 30,000. Coronavirus cases in Singapore topped 30,000 on Friday as the city-state reports hundreds of new infections in cramped migrant worker dormitories every day. The lowly paid workers represented the vast majority of the 614 new cases reported on Friday. A daily infection rate that is one of the highest in Asia, taking Singapore's total cases to 30,426. Noon data showed that only 4 cases are Singaporean citizens or permanent residents. The death toll, meanwhile, remains at 23. To date, there are still 901 COVID-19 patients in hospital, with 10 in critical condition in the intensive care unit. Thailand will extend its state of emergency over the coronavirus until the end of June in an effort to keep infections under control as the government prepares to ease restrictions further. Shopping malls and department stores reopened at the weekend after almost 2 months of closure as the number of cases slowed, but bars, nightclubs, cinemas, playgrounds and some sports remain off limits. The extension, however, is subject to cabinet approval on Tuesday. Today, the country's total confirmed cases are 3,037, of which 56 were fatalities, with 2,910 recoveries. Spanish authorities will lift part of the lockdown restrictions in Madrid on Monday after the pace of the coronavirus contagion in the region slowed down. The restrictions in Madrid are now the same as in most of the country that started phasing out the lockdown in early May. Bars and restaurants in the capital will be allowed to reopen terraces, and groups of up to 10 people will be allowed to meet. India registered some 6,000 new cases of the novel coronavirus on Friday, the country's biggest jump in 24 hours, as New Delhi eases a nationwide lockdown and airlines prepare to resume some domestic flights. The country of 1.3 billion people reported a total of over 118,000 confirmed cases on Friday, a roughly 5% increase from Thursday's figures. Included in the total are 3,583 deaths. Now let's take a look at the highlights in Malaysia's main newspapers for Saturday, May 23rd. The New Straits Times and Harian Metro both underlines Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin's speech, which stresses on Malaysians' responsibility to curb the COVID-19 infection in the country. He said it is time to give the frontliners a chance to have a little but most deserved break. Berita Harian, meanwhile, focuses on the National Security Council's warning of no sleepovers during Hari Raya house visits. Do get your copies today or subscribe to the e-paper. And 40 years ago on this date, a new video game featuring a bright yellow dot-chomping, ghost-dodging character called Pac-Man appeared in Tokyo. Who would have thought it would become the most successful arcade game of all time and be recognized by the Guinness World Records as the most successful coin-operated arcade game? Let's take a look as we wrap up Nightline this time around. With that, I'm Nakia Basharuddin. Thank you for watching, and to our Muslim viewers, Selamat Bersahur.